want to talk about what you need in a moisturiser. It's a question that's come up a lot from the group recently. When you look at a moisturiser and maybe it's not working for you, or one that you particularly love, you will find that it will contain three things. And you can get those three things in different ways. So I use the kind of 10-step Korean skincare regime, and then I do different parts of the moisturizer in different phases, or you can use a product that has all three in it. But you are really looking for three things in your moisturizers: emollients, humectants, and occulants. Occlusive ingredients. I don't know if they actually are occulants. So let's start with emollients. Emollients are the products that go into your moisturizer. They actually sort of smooth off the edges of your cells in the upper layer of your skin, and they are the things that make the product feel lovely when you put it on. I have one particular cream that I use in the evening, a Huda cream, and it just, I put it on just for fun because it feels so lovely. So those emollients are the ones that are going to make your skin feel really soft, silky, repaired. The ingredients that you're looking for that are emollient ingredients, there are loads of them. And lots of them have long chemical names. Please, for the love of God, don't go, well, if you can't read it out loud, it's not good for you, because actually quite a lot of those things are really good for you. But I have chosen the ones that seem to come up again and again and again when I am doing my research. So, emollients. Number one, petroleum jelly, Vaseline, good old Vaseline. Some of you might have remembered, well, I don't suppose you do, your mother slapping it on your bum when you had nappy rash. It's a great product for just making your skin feel smooth. I am a big proponent of Vaseline. I use it twice a day. Other ones, dimethicone, you will see on the back of moisturizers often. That dimethicone is silicone, so you might see silicone instead of dimethicone. That is a really lovely product for being an emollient. There was a product years ago, I haven't seen it in forever. It was the Vaseline hand and nail, the Vickel hand and nail cream, and it had a very high silicone content. And I remember putting it on again and again and again during the day, just because it had such a silky, it gave such a silky finish. Natural ones, there are lots of them, but cocoa butter. So if you are a Palmer's fan, cocoa butter is going to be a good one for you. And then paraffin is another one. Those are the emollients, so they're going to make your skin feel nice and soft and lovely. But if you just leave it at that, you are not going to end up with moisturized skin. So it's going to feel lovely when you put it on, but later you're going to have that tight feeling or itchy feeling later in the day as those evaporate off. So what we need then is what we call a humectant. So humectant's purpose is to pull in moisture. So the one that everyone wants to sell you at the moment is hyaluronic acid. It holds something ridiculous. It's like 1,000 times its own weight in water. So it's a great humectant, but other ones, glycerine, so, another one that's been around for a bazillion years, grapeseed oil, and one that I'm particularly fond of is urea. At higher dosages, urea is an exfoliant, but at the up to about 15%, it's a humectant. So you might be familiar with urea from Heel Balm, but actually, if you look at quite a lot of the formulations for very dry skin, you will see urea. So at the moment, I use the Eucerin 10%. It's really dry here in Johannesburg in winter, so it's a really nice lotion that's a body lotion that I use as a humectant. There is a really important one that I haven't mentioned. It's the most important one, and it is called aqua. That's water. So dermatologists will actually often say to you, put your moisturizer onto damp skin. Don't dry your skin off before you put your moisturizer on, because humectants will draw this moisture towards you, and if there is not water in the atmosphere or water on your skin, they are going to start drawing that from the deeper layers of your skin and actually make your skin drier than it was before. So make sure you are hydrated, and also make sure that your skin is slightly damp when you put your moisturizer on. Are two great tips for humectants. So now, if you've got an emollient, your skin is soft, you've got a humectant, you're nice and moisturized, you're going to hit the same problem as I mentioned earlier, is that these things will evaporate off, and you will end up feeling dry towards the end of the day or after a little while after putting your cream on. So what you need is an occulant. I think of occulants as kind of the varnish of your skin. These are products that sit on top of your skin, and they create a barrier that is not going to let anything get out. So what are some occulants? Petroleum jelly, again. You will see I have what is nice. You know, when people are being nice, they say your skin is dewy. Other people say it's shiny and oily. But I actually put petroleum jelly on my face morning and evening over the top of my moisturizers, again, because it's just super, super dry here in Joburg at the moment. Lanolin, it's a byproduct. It's actually the wax that comes off sheep's wool when it's washed. It's another great product, but quite a lot of people have an allergy to lanolin, so it's a really good one to do, like a patch test before you go into it. Mineral oil, so baby oil, and again dimethicone, so the silicone. Now, you will have heard some of these things, like the Vaseline and the dimethicone, hit multiple lists. So they are really great products because they do, you know, it's two for the price of one, and I'm always up for a bargain. So those are things that you need to make sure your moisturizing regime has. So if you just flip around the back of your moisturizer, you need to make sure that you have those three properties in it. And they might be like, there is one that I look, it's like isopropyl stearine, or so, I can't remember the actual name, but that's another really good emollient that is used. If you are getting to the end of the day and you are finding that your skin is dry or itchy or just feeling like meh, go and double check that your moisturizer, one, has all three ingredients, or at least your moisturizing regime. Because, so for example, you might use, if you're into the products like the Inky List and the Ordinary, Skin Functional in South Africa, these are ones that will sell you the individual ingredients, and then you can sort of be like a home pharmacist. Those are great, but now you might have put these on and then forgotten one of the products. And again, depending on your weather conditions and also your skin. So my skin is super dry. It's even drier in Joburg at this time of year. So I obviously want to use, that's why I put actually extra occulant on the outside to make sure that all this dosh that I have spent on looking like a Korean teenager doesn't just disappear off into the environment. Guys, it's really important and inclusive, because if you don't use them, everything evaporates off, and actually your skin is going to end up more damaged than it was before. So those are three things that your moisturizer must have. Remember the tip of putting your moisturizer onto damp skin. Don't fall into I call them the anti-vaxxers of the skincare world, who will tell you that petroleum jelly, paraffin, mineral oil are toxic sludge from the petroleum industry. They are byproducts of the petroleum industry, but they've been around for like a bazillion years, and actually of all skincare products, they have the most studies behind them in terms of people not having allergies, but non-comedogenic, which means it won't give you spots and block your pores, and actually being effective. So don't fall for the all-natural thing necessarily. Some of these old favorites that look really unsexy are really, really useful. Don't get excited when you look at your moisture your moisturiser and the first ingredient is aqua, that's good. It means it's got water in it, and water is actually what we want because that's moisturiser. So don't get excited about it having lots of, aqua. What you do want to know is, if you look this one, I mean, they're far too small to see, but if you look on this, they are listed until there's less than 1% in the formulation, but they are listed in order of how much they have. The other last thing that I want to say to you is that, some of these occulants, like think about baby oil, right? It's not thick and heavy. So don't fall into the trap of thinking that if you have dry or aging skin, the thicker and gloopier it is. Remember, my mum used to use the old-fashioned Nivea, and it felt like she sort of, needed a palette knife to get it on. Really good occulants, really good emollients, really good humectants are not necessarily heavy. You can find ones that are heavy, and if you like that kind of texture, go for it. But because something might be a lotion does not mean that it's not going to do the job. Two of the big brands that are out, well, CeraVe is difficult to get in South Africa, and Cetaphil is outrageously expensive for what it is in South Africa. But when I look on YouTube, I hear again and again and again CeraVe and Cetaphil as two really good formulations, and they are actually ones where you can even just use the lotions if you like that light formulation. Right, I told you that I would give you videos with poor production value, so you can hear the vacuum in the background, you can see the terrible lighting, and you can see my Highland cow. I will be back soon talking about sunscreens, both chemical and physical, and see you soon.